Welcome to the Construction Financial Management Association's Chat with the Chairman. I'm your host, CFMA Chairman Kevin Booth. Today I'll be sitting down with CFMA's Vice Chairman and CFO of OCP Contractors, Pam Hepburn. Now, Pam and I have known each other for many years here at CFMA, but Pam, I'm going to test your memory right now and ask, do you remember when we met?
Yeah, I do remember. I think it was at the 2013 National Conference in San Diego, and I was presenting a subspecialty track conference session with Marge Weber, and you attended the session. And after the session, actually before and after the session, I made a really shameless plug for recruiting specialty subcontractor members, if anybody was interested in helping us come up with conference track sessions and helping us with the newsletter. And you came up afterwards and approached me and gave me your business card. And you said, I'd really like to volunteer. So that was cool.
Yeah, that was it. Exactly.
That was it. And you did volunteer, and we worked on that committee a lot together.
It worked. It worked really well.
Yeah.
It worked really well. Well, as a matter of fact, so it's an interesting fact that I just recently realized for us is that you and I have served side by side as chair and vice chair on several different committees on several different occasions, whether it's you as chair and me as vice chair or vice versa.
It's gone back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. It's just so, do you remember which committees those were?
Well, subspecialty. I think I became chair while you were a member, and then you became vice chair because we didn't have a vice chair, and I was ready to not be chair after a couple of terms. So you were vice chair, and then I was still on the committee. So we did that. Let's see, Leadership Development Committee. We've gone back and forth as chair and vice chair.
Flip-flopped a couple times.
I think what else? Of course, on the executive committee and as officers, chair and vice chair. Yeah. I think that's it. We also served on conference planning for a while.
Right. We were both members of the conference planning program committee. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, so we've bumped into each other a lot.
Yes. Quite a bit. Well, you were the one that actually inspired me to get involved, in my first CFMA committee. And of course, you later inspired me to take my first leadership position, as you mentioned there in San Diego. You gave the inspiring speech to join the what was known back then as subspecialty committee. Fast forward a year later, and I mean, by the way, at that conference there in San Diego, I had never even heard of the subspecialty committee. So if it wasn't for you making that pitch to find volunteers, I wouldn't have even known about it. But I remember when you told everybody about the committee, I thought, man, I really want to be a part of that.
And I didn't realize that was the first national committee that you have volunteered on.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I didn't realize I had that much power.
Yeah, you did.
I will continue to shamelessly plug for volunteers for CFMA.
That's right.
So if anybody watches this and you want to volunteer at the national level, let us know.
Yes. Listen to Pam. It's been good advice. It's worked well for me. So well, you continue to influence me as well, because fast forward a year later, and we're on a conference call for the subspecialty committee, and you mentioned that the committee did not have a vice chair at that time, and you're kind of wondering what we're going to do about succession planning for the committee. And so after, I don't know, what felt like 5 minutes of silence.
Yeah, nobody
said anything. I said, well, okay, I'm in. I'll do it.
And I appreciate that, or I'd probably still be the chair of that committee.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that committee has grown quite a little bit. They have quite a few members now in it. I mean, back when it was you and me and Marge, and we got Michelle Walker involved, and yeah, it was a pretty small group back there.
Yeah. For the longest time, it was really just the four of us that were the heart of that, and it's really great to see that committee flourish all these years later, for sure. So, anyway, so it's clear, from all this that you're passionate about CFMA. So, how did you originally get involved with the organization?
Wow. Well, I've been a member since 1987, when my boss at the time left the company, and we had a membership. So I was like, okay, I better continue this membership. We'll see what it's about. For a long time, I just attended meetings and read Building Profits. And, I would attend a meeting if the chapter meeting seemed like it was a topic that I might be interested in, but I didn't network with people that much. I didn't go all the time. And then in 2009, I got the conference brochure for the conference in Las Vegas. And I read all of the information, and I thought there is really a lot here that applies to my job and a lot of things that I really want to learn. So I took it to my boss, who at the time, he's retired since, so I can say these things now. At the time, he was very cheap. And so I went to him with the conference information, and I said, I'd like to attend the conference. I feel like there's a lot of things I could learn that apply to my job. And you don't have to pay for a hotel because my sister lives in Las Vegas and I can stay with her. She can take me back and forth. So transportation's not an issue other than the flight out there. And at that time, our chapter would subsidize the tuition for the conference. So they had I don't know, some money, and however many people went, they would divide that money up equally between those people. So I also got the tuition covered. So that was great. So I attended that first conference, and one of the classes I attended was the CCIFP overview, and decided at the time that I was going to study and sit for that test. So
that's great. Yeah. Well, that 2009 conference was a great conference. Of course it was. It was in Las Vegas. But aside from that, were you able to go to the infamous 2010 conference the next year in Hawaii?
I was. So at the 2009 conference, every class that I attended, I would write before I got up. And this is something Cal Beyer mentioned that we should do. He was one of the speakers. And he said, before you stand up in every single session, write down a couple of things you want to do or you want to follow up on for when you get back home. So I did that. I thought it was a really good idea. The next year, when the conference was in Hawaii, I pulled out that list, and I took the list from 2009 to my boss, still very cheap guy. He was a wonderful mentor, but he was very cheap.
Not much had changed in a year.
No. I took that list to him and I said, I really want to attend the 2010 conference. Here's a list of things I learned at the 2009 conference. These are all the things we implemented, and I really think it'd be a good idea. And he said, okay, go. And I said, but it's in Hawaii. And he said, go ahead and go anyway. So that was, I think, just kind of a testament to the quality of the education and the impact that it had on us.
Yeah. No, that's really great advice. I think everybody should do that. Make sure that your organization knows what you get out of the conference. That really is helpful. I got to be honest. I didn't even attempt to go to the 2010 conference in Hawaii. In 2010, we were still struggling, with the recession, especially being residential contractors that we were. That segment was really hit hard, so that wasn't even on the radar for me. But I'm glad you got to go there in 2010.
Yeah, I think for us, if it had been 11 or 12, I probably wouldn't have been able to.
Right, exactly. Timing is everything.
You down.
Timing is everything.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that at the 2009 conference that you attended the CCIFP overview course and thought about getting your designation then. So when did you end up getting your designation?
Oh, okay. So yeah, I came home from the conference and I spent the entire summer studying. I bought the book, read all the articles, did my due diligence trying to study for the test. And so in September of 2009, my daughter was going to college in Erie, Pennsylvania at the Penn State Barron campus. And she was kind of homesick. And I had found a test site. That was when the tests were still in person. You couldn't take them online. Found a test site in Pennsylvania, in Pittsburgh. And I thought, well, I could drive to Erie and then stay the night, Friday night and Saturday, because she was homesick. So she'd get to see Mom. I'd get to see her. And then I would get up Sunday morning because the test was on Sunday at like 11 or something. And then drive down to Pittsburgh, take the test and drive home. It's about 5 hours from Pittsburgh to Toledo. So that was my plan, and I got signed up for the test. And that Friday, when I was about ready to leave to go to my daughter's house, I was plugging the address for the test site into my GPS and realized that it was not in Pittsburgh. It was actually in Philadelphia. which is clear across the state from Pennsylvania. It's an 8-hour difference drive.
Not close.
It's actually from Erie. It's longer than 8 hours because you have to go diagonal across the state. So I'd already told my daughter that I was going to see her, so I couldn't back out on that. I still went to her house, but I had to leave Saturday around noon, get a hotel in Philadelphia. The hotel where the test was booked. So I had to get a hotel that was a few blocks away. And I got there, I left Saturday at, I don't know, noon, something like that. Didn't get there until about 11 o'clock Saturday night. Got up in the morning, went downstairs to catch a cab to go to the hotel that had the test. And I went to like the valet and I said, can I get a cab? And he said, oh, no, you're not going to get a cab today. There's a marathon in town and they have all the streets closed. So I think the look on my face was enough for him. I probably had a tear in my eye and my lip might have been quivering. And he looked at me and he said, just a minute. And he ran away, like back through another room. And then he came running back a couple minutes later and he said, follow me, follow me. I ran with him through the hotel, through the kitchen of the hotel, to a back door out the kitchen in an alley. And there was a taxi waiting there. And the driver was like, get in quick. I think if I leave right now, I can still get you there. So I hopped in the cab. Long story long, I made it there, took the test, drove to Pittsburgh, stayed the night in Pittsburgh, and then drove back home the next day. And that was when you didn't get to find out on the test either very quickly. It was like a month and a half later, I got a letter in the mail that said I did actually pass. Surprising. But when I got home, my husband, he was laughing at me and he said, you know, the thing that I don't understand is why you thought Philadelphia and Pittsburgh were both in Pennsylvania. And I said, well, that's why we get along so well, because neither one of us is good at geography.
You proved that, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I was really glad geography wasn't on the test as, you know, one of the knowledge domains, because I would not have passed.
Good thing. That whole thing, I mean, that sounds like a scene out of a Jason Bourne film.
It is. Welcome to my life, Kevin. Nothing is easy.
What's amazing that you made it there in time, and what's more amazing is that you passed under such pressure. You know,
well, I must have known the material. You know, that's what I look at. Like,
it's a testament to that too. Yes, you knew the material. Oh boy. Oh man. Well, anyway, enough about CFMA. We could you and I can sit here and talk all day about our CFMA interactions, but you know, I'd like to get to know you a little better. You mentioned during your trip to get your exam there, your daughter and your husband. So tell us a little bit about your family.
Oh, okay. My daughter is now back in Toledo. She's married. She just had her first baby, Amelia, who was born in April. She's a little COVID baby. Not COVID like ill, but COVID this year, right? And she's beautiful. My husband is in the heating and air conditioning. He's construction as well, new construction. My son lives in Texas and he has 5 children. So I'm a grandma 6 times over. I don't know what else to tell you about the family. They're wonderful.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Well, with your schedule, I don't know if this is really an option for you, but do you have time for any hobbies?
Well, right now CFMA is my hobby. There's a lot going on.
Yes,
in the officer roles, so that's mainly my hobby. But before CFMA, or before I was this busy with CFMA, I studied and became a master gardener, which is a volunteer position with the Extension Service. So I love gardening. I had a great time volunteering there and probably will again. That's my passion.
Yeah, fantastic. Master gardener. Wow, that is something. Well, as customary here on Chat with the Chairman, I like to ask our viewers a question. So today I would like to give you the honor of asking our audience a question. What would you like to ask?
Well, how about how many of you think that geography should be one of the knowledge domains on the CCIFP exam.
Wow. Yeah. Well, probably a good thing it's not for you.
I'm glad it's not. But we'll see if they think maybe it should have been.
Well, that's a good question. Well, thank you. So for all of you watching, in the comment section down here below, please, answer Pam's question. What do you think? Do you think geography should be a part of the ICCIFP knowledge domain, or maybe you could think of something else that we should probably add to the exam knowledge domain? So let us know in the comment section below there. Well, it's we were reaching the end of our episode already here. And boy, I hate to say it, but this is my last episode of Chat with the Chairman. I hope that all of you have found these videos entertaining, and hopefully you've learned a little something about all the wonderful people in the world of CFMA that I got to interview over the last year here. It's certainly been a pleasure and an honor to serve as your chairman. And I'm truly honored, blessed, humbled, and I just want to thank you all for trusting in me for this last year. And now while this may be my last episode, I'm happy to announce that Pam will be carrying on the series for the next year. So with that, join us here next month, and join Pam next month when she takes over hosting CFMA's Chat with the Chairman. And until then, hopefully we get to see you all soon. But until then, please stay safe. Bye now.
Bye.